Go for it.
Okay. So recently my car was stolen and recovered. So the Richmond police call me and tell me that they have recovered my car. And they won't tell me what kind of condition it's in. They say, well, is it in one piece? They say, yes, it's in one piece. Will it start? Well, they don't know because they don't have a key. Fair enough. So I go to get the car, which involves first going to the Berkeley Police Department and getting a form. I get that form, and I get a ride from a person who works in my lab, and then I have to go to the Richmond Police Department to trade that form for another form. So I go and I create the form trade, which of course requires 30 minutes worth of hemming and hawing, talking on the phone, typing on a computer. I don't know why. So I get the new form, and now I have to go to the tow yard to retrieve it. At this point, it's like 8 o'clock at night in Richmond, which is kind of a sketchy town in the Bay Area in California. And so I drive 8 o'clock at night, it's dark, it's cold, and we go to this tow yard in the middle of nothing. It's a wasteland. There's industrial yards and train tracks and this random tow yard and a homeless shelter next door. So we go to the tow yard and we drive in, and there's no one really to be seen, just a bunch of old cars that are all piled up on top of each other. Finally we drive around the back, we find a guy in a tow truck. The guy gets out of the tow truck and he's a huge guy, this big old guy, tall, big around, and he's wheezing with every step. Just wheezing with every step. We tell him we need to pick up my car, and so we give him my form, the magical form, and he figures out which car is mine, and I go, and I walk up to the car, I look inside, and the first thing I see is there's a blanket over the back seat, and I'm just thinking, ew. And the next thing I see is my muffler in the passenger seat, and I'm thinking, this is not good. I unlock the door, and I try to hit the power locks, nothing happens, so they killed the battery. And then, of course, I pull the muffler out of the seat so that I can sit down and try to start it, and there's nothing. We open up the hood and discover the battery's been stolen, and the catalytic converter's been stolen. So this is all grand. But we have to go and, of course, still pay to get the car out of tow. So we go and pay $300 to get the car out of tow. And the guy offers to drag the car outside of the tow lot so that I can call AAA to come and tow my car to a mechanic, because obviously it's not drivable. So that's, okay, that sounds fine. So we're going to tow the car, and we go and we sit outside in the car with this person who's giving me a ride. And we're sitting outside waiting for the tow truck to come, and AAA says they'll be there in 20 or 30 minutes. Well, then the tow company calls and says we'll be there within an hour and a half. And we're sitting there, and as we're sitting there in the middle of nothing, this is probably the most terrifying location I can imagine. This is the kind of place where like hookers disappear for forever. And this woman wanders out from the trees carrying a styrofoam container of food, obviously a crack addict, just sort of stumbling out from the trees, and starts walking towards the car. We're parked it, waiting for the tow truck. So the guy who's driving the car gave me a ride. He starts the car and we drive away, but where are we going to go? We can't leave. So we just sort of do a circle and come back and park. And the woman gets distracted and wanders off. About 5 minutes later, she wanders back. Starts walking towards the car. We start the car again, drive away. Then a tow truck comes down the road. Oh, thank God the tow truck is here. The guy pulls up and says, hey, your tow truck's just around the corner. I'm actually off shift, but I just wanted to call and come by and let you know that your tow truck's coming in about a half an hour. I'm like, God, another half an hour in this place. At which point I say, okay, I need to go to the bathroom. We're going to leave here for a second and go to the bathroom. So we go and we start driving towards what looks to be like civilization, and we eventually find it. Find a McDonald's, go to the bathroom. And of course on the way back we realize we have no idea how to get back to the wasteland. And we end up getting lost and driving through some nasty parts of Richmond, and eventually find our way back, thank God, to the wasteland and the homeless shelter. And the woman was there when we got back, thank goodness. Otherwise maybe we wouldn't have known where we were, I don't know. And we park again, she wanders towards the car again, and finally the tow truck shows up, and thank God this tow truck guy was a normal human being. And we get the car hitched up and we tow it to Oakland, where this mechanic is. Now this mechanic happens to be located in a very sketchy part of Oakland, and so we pull up and there's like 8 kids, young boys, just sort of lounging in the street at 10 o'clock at night on a Monday. And I'm great. And they're all very interested in what we're doing with the car. And so we unload my car onto the street in Oakland to park it since the mechanic's not open. And at this point I'm just thinking my life is over. Like, I'm just going to die. I thought I was going to die in Richmond, now I think I'm going to die in Oakland. I ended up having to pay like $100 to the tow truck because I had to tow it so far to get it to this mechanic. But eventually we get the car parked, we leave it there, and I'm actually kind of hoping that the hooligans steal the car, in all honesty, because then I can claim it as a total loss. And so yeah, we parked the car, and then finally it was time to go home. So I went home and I ate a couple brownies, and I went to sleep. And I took the next day off work. But the next day, this gets even better. The next day I go back with this guy who was helping me out to get the car. We have to push the car down the street, 2 blocks down the street to the mechanic's place, of course, because it doesn't start. And so I'm pushing the car down this major thoroughfare in a ghetto in Oakland. I'm just pushing my car with the mechanic in the driver's seat and the other guy from my lab helping me. We push it in, and the guy looks at the car and says, "Okay, so what do you want? What do you want the car? Do you want the car fixed or do you want the car totaled?" And I say, "Oh, I would like the car to be totaled so that I don't have to deal with it." He's like, "Okay, I make it totaled for you." It's like, wow, okay. So it's like, just assess the damages and tell me how it is. So I eventually, left it there with the mechanic, and that's sort of where things stand now. So that's my recent life trauma.
Well, thank you, Liz. That's a good story.